We're very honoured to have the recently elected President of the Northampton RSL, Mr Bevan Suckling, with us today. And I now invite Bevan to address the gathering and to officially open the tribute for us. Thank you, Bevan. Please make Bevan.
Good morning, everyone. It's a real privilege to be asked to do this and an honour. So, it's great to see such a turnout. It's absolutely fantastic. My name, as Pam said, is Bevan Suckling. I recently took over as President of RSL Northampton from Jeffrey Roll, who was President for quite a few years. Just let you know what I am. I'm ex-Navy, Vietnam in the 1970s. My grandfather and his brother were foundation members of the RSL after they returned from the Middle East in 1919. My grandfather's light horse saddle is actually in the museum here, so that's well worth looking at. Also have another connection with Chapman Valley. My old man was headmaster of Una School in 1949, so there might be a few students here, I'm not sure. That's still going, I suppose they might be. As I say, it is a great honour to do this, and I'd like to welcome all the dignitaries and all involved in getting this thing together. As it was said in the day, it was a war to end all wars, and I don't think we've learnt much, especially with the goings on today on the Korean Peninsula. With these lovely youngsters here, I just hope they don't have to do what our grandfathers and fathers and us did. So I think the idea of these tributes are to promote peace, not war. It's pretty important to remember. It's not about war, it's about peace and remembering what they did, and I don't think we should ever let it happen again if we can help it. I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping. I'd like to say our researcher, Elaine Chick, recently passed away a week or so ago. So I'd like to say, Vale Elaine, she did a power of work for our museum and our RSL, and her book is available if anyone's interested. We've got copies at the RSL in Northampton for sale. I would also like to say it's the 100th, we've got to push Northampton a little bit. It is the 100th Northampton show on Saturday, so roll up. The RSL hall will be open. It's well worth a look. We've done it up quite nicely, I think, over the last few years. Been a lot of changes. Also, for Bob Bandy, the vintage cars will be in here for morning tea, I believe, on the 12th, Tuesday, and then they move to Northampton for lunch and the day. They'll be parked up there, so that is all. The hall will be up too, if anyone's interested. I do have a little quote here. I'd like to say it in honour of the 154 soldiers that went away from this district. As we see from the poppies, 42 that were killed, 17 in unknown graves. In fact, 100 years ago today, this year rather, 22 were killed on the Western Front. I think it was 4 in one day from this district killed. So it's pretty important to take that lesson, and yes, I do have a quote I'm going to read out. While I'm reading it, see if any scholars amongst you know who said it. Each has won a glorious grave, not the sepulchre of earth, wherein they lie, but the living tomb of everlasting remembrance, wherein their glory is enshrined. For the whole earth is the sepulchre of heroes. Monuments may rise and tablets be set up to them in their own land, but in far-off shores there is an abiding memorial that no pen or chisel has traced. It is graven not in stone or brass, but the living heart of humanity. Take these men, for example. Like them, remember that prosperity can only be for the free, and that freedom is the sure possession of those alone who had the courage to defend it. And I think it's quite appropriate today. That was actually written by Pericles 2,500 years ago. So I think we should take lessons and try and make the change. With that, I would like to declare this memorial open. If I can find my scissors. And thank you. Well and truly open.
Thank you very much, Bevan. Councillor John Collingwood became president of the Chapman Valley Shire a long time ago, I think around 201. It was around this time that the museum was really starting to develop here, and the Shire have been very, very supportive, and without their assistance it would be extremely difficult to operate the museum. I now would like to invite John to give the final address for this morning. Thanks very much, John. Please welcome him.
Thanks, Pam. I think the Shire shudders every time a museum comes down for a visit. But we do love the work that's happening here. It's a real privilege to be standing here. President Mr. Warren Kennedy, Councillor Barbara Shields, OAM, Pam Batten, OAM, and their wonderful committee. We've got Mr. Shane Love, member from Moore. We've got Councillor Forrester and Shire staff. We've got the 11th Battalion. I think it's really wonderful to see their history displays, and it keeps it in our mind as to what it went through. It was 100 years ago, and if we're not careful, it can be just part of history, someone else. Ian Heberle, bit to do with him over the years with the RSL in Geraldton. CWA and UNIS students, I think really you did bring home how important family and the fact that mothers missing children was to everybody, and I think that if we're not careful, it becomes another name in a book, another memorial, but this they really did bring it to life with their songs and their poetry and their letters from the Red Cross. But this particular monument here is really an outstanding thing. So we witnessed a very moving ceremony, and I was just reading a little bit earlier before I came that the small population of 5 million people, 60,000 were killed, and quite that number again wounded and injured and shocked and destroyed them for the rest of their lives. So the numbers were far greater injured by the war. And the problem is when leaders put personal ambition ahead of people, as North Korea at the moment, we'll always have wars. And I think it's pretty well generational that we'll be going to war somewhere, but I don't think things will ever change. So many of the names on that list are families still living in the district, and their children are mourning the fact that their great-grandfather or their uncles I'll never see or hear. So once again, congratulations to the museum and the great crowd that came here today, and a very worthy project, so thank you.
Thank you, John. To conclude the proceedings, Mr Ian Heberle from the Geraldton RSL will give the Ode of Remembrance. The last post will be played by bugler Jackie Simkin from Northampton. There will be a minute's silence, followed by the rouse. The Australian flag will then be raised by a student from the Chapman Valley Primary School, followed by the 11th Battalion Living History Unit marching out. Thank you, Ian.
First of all, before we all get carried away, Warren, I'd like to thank you and your committee for a fantastic effort you've done in the memorial behind us, and I'd like to thank you for inviting me to do the ode for the soldiers that gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to be here today, because without their sacrifice, I dare say, we wouldn't even be around. Would you please all be upstanding if you can? If you can't, you may remain seated. They went with song to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their face to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Guard and squad. Attention. Shoulder, arms. Shoulder, arms. Guard and squad, left and right. Fire center. Quick march.
Before everybody does sort of move, I would like to sincerely thank you all for your attendance today. Your presence has made this official opening so much more special. If the school children could just remain there for a moment, Mrs. Anne Kennedy has something that she would like to present to you as a little memento of the day. And once again, we thank you sincerely for your presentations. I hope that you are all able to stay and enjoy a light lunch with us and look over the museum, chat and enjoy our hospitality. Finally, a special thanks to all our society members. It has been a great effort by everyone to bring this day together. I also sincerely thank our photographer, Renee Stokes, who has kindly offered to take some photographs today, and to David Westerner, the member of the Society, who's over there with his video camera. If you would like a photo taken by Renee, you need to approach her, and she's coming forward now. She'll be around for about half an hour, so please approach Renee and she will take a photo if you'd like to get a group together. What will happen now is the official party will place a coffee at the entrance to the tribute, and we then extend an invitation for everyone to follow. So thank you all very, very much.
Yeah, this is the pole. Hang on to the pole. Hello, Danny.